Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is having a great time and has tuned in with a lot of expectations because we are all very excited at this end. My name is Anjali Desai and I head HR and admin at Fourth Partner Energy. It's a pleasure to share with all of you that for the second year in a row, we are one of the few renewable energy companies that has been certified as a great place to work. We've also grown in terms of our people numbers. We are now 400 plus across India and South Asia. And we have more than 18 locations out of which we operate and 2,000 plus projects where we've executed on the renewable energy side. Joining me are two of my favorite colleagues in the organization, two leaders whom I really look up to and respect. And I leave it to both of you to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I am Akhil Katara. I co-lead the Corporate Finance and Founders Office function at Fourth Partner Energy, and I'm very delighted to be part of this panel discussion, which we will get to the topic of very soon.
Hello everyone, my name is Rahul Binani. I head tax here and support CFO and founder in taking financial decisions. I'm pleased to be co-chair with Akhil and Anjali.
So it's a pleasure to share with all of you and of course my panel members here that taking into consideration all the questions that were asked as a part of the GPW survey, we've scored 85% on just the trust factor that our employees feel, for the organization. So I'd love to hear both your points on what you feel about this score. It's a very high score at that.
I think it's an amazing feat to achieve. I think it's second year in a row that we have got the Great Place to Work certified, and trust being one of the cornerstones of this assessment. I believe it's amazing really to see 85% plus. I believe trust is something without which you cannot survive, without which you cannot work or have a great place to work. So it's absolutely important. It's end of the day a family. It's a close-knit group because you're spending 1/3 of your time with the same team on a daily basis, and I think trust is the cornerstone, like I said.
I go with Akhil on all the points. I think not left anything for me. Just want to add, this has come right from our founders where they have shown the trust. That's how this company and we have all grown, and then that's a habit he has inculcated in us, and then we are trying to give it to our middle management and the junior peers who can then grow themselves, and that adds to the business as well.
Yeah, very interestingly, just taking off from what both of you just shared, the second factor that is very high in terms of scoring for us is credibility in management and approachability. It's a great mix to have.
Credibility picks on from trust, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to believe in somebody, and
Yes.
that is something which will build the belief in the organization, in the objective of what we are setting out there to achieve, and also will have a very important boost on employee morale. The next part that I would want to touch upon is credibility outside the organization.
Right.
So I believe one part is within the organization where you have an ecosystem. The other ecosystem is outside the organization. So be it your lenders, be it your investors, your customers. I believe Fourth Partner Energy has consistently ranked in the top tier when we are dealing with the external stakeholders. Don't you think?
Oh, certainly agree with that. Any thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
I totally agree. So just to share my experience, I have been with consulting for around 14 odd years, and coming to an industry was really I don't know whether it is going to be good or bad, how people will accept me or whether how I'll be able to survive the area, but the atmosphere which has made me comfortable, the culture which I am coming from, the culture are almost same, and then the new culture which I had to put forth was wholeheartedly accepted. So that's where I feel.
I remember the first few weeks with
Yes.
you when we were discussing a culture in one of the
Culture.
top 4, and then the culture over
Correct,
here.
correct.
Interesting
So
conversation.
that's how. Just to add to that, that's how the history of our founders as well.
Absolutely.
They have been in the roles where they are coming from consulting background, so that the passion and the pace which they all deliver, I think that's all same, and that's where we are able to move forward, and so as the team. Yeah, yes.
I agree. Even I have come in from the consulting background, and I think the apprehension is there, right?
Of
Because you're
course.
coming in from a more structured consulting background, you're in the industry. But I think it was seamless for me because the organization was so approachable, so welcoming of people. I think it's just amazing.
Yeah. And I can see now that especially the newcomers that are coming and joining us come from such diverse backgrounds. But all of us together, we try our best to ensure that we welcome them and make them feel included. That leads me to another interesting observation made by the GPW report. which is about the business acumen. And I remember reading this in one of our customer surveys, where, like you rightly said, Akhil, it was not just the customers who believe in us as far as our business acumen goes, but that again leads back to the credibility and trust. Your experience with some of the customers, and maybe you can talk about your experience with lenders.
I think business acumen comes down to, I think the key important decision for us, essentially the decision making is decentralized, right? So it's a lot of cross-functional brainstorming. It's a lot of openness and transparency that the organization has, right? So it's not just the leadership that makes the decisions or take calls, right? There's a middle management, and then the middle management is empowering their respective teams, right? And then once you have the cross-functional brainstorming and discourse, I think that certainly builds business acumen, not only from your functional area, but perhaps different areas, right? For example, me being a finance individual, I have attended customer meetings. So it's not just me giving inputs on the financial aspects of it, it's me giving inputs on the business, it's me giving inputs on strategy, on how we can help our customers achieve their objectives. So I believe that plays a very important role in my mind from a business acumen standpoint. And I think that's validation when we hear testimonials from stakeholders and even external validation from Great Place to Work surveys, it just boosts our morale.
Oh yeah, so interestingly said.
Correct. So as I just want to have a couple of attributes which I have learned and which I feel that is happening. One, you surround. So I am a chartered accountant by academics, and then I have been sitting with all the MBAs and the engineers of the project team, who are champs in their field. So one attribute which I have learned around is to, if you want to survive and grow high, you have to surround yourself with the most intelligent brains, and that's what we have here. So that makes us grow further and boost our other capabilities which academically I haven't got. Other attribute as a leader is we should be very clear. So that is something which we learn and then which we see from our seniors, is you have to be very clear in your thoughts. So for any deliverable or for any communication, there is a lot of noise around you. So you have to cut that noise around, and then you have to be clear in delivering. So that is what we have been learning, and we have been giving to our team and junior peers for that.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Rahul. Slightly a question, I think, where as an HR professional, I'll have a different viewpoint, and I expect both of you as the business leaders to have a different point, which is where 47+% of our employees have been with the organization for 5 or more years. And out of that, almost 24% have been with us for more than 10 years. So I'm thrilled when I see numbers like this. I think that the retention hence that we are doing is working somewhere, right? But what are your thoughts on this, Rahul, if you want to have
I don't have the right. I think this question is perfectly for you, Anjali, to answer, because you have been in this profession, seen the iteration or the churning of the employees. So what has been your experience vis-a-vis your earlier organization corporates where you have been?
Yeah, so given that we are we're around 450 people right now, it makes me feel that our heart and mind is so much invested in Fourth Partner, and that's why people have stayed back here, right? And the experience hence that they bring to the table is invaluable. So for me, I look at it from that perspective. But any thoughts that you have on the same?
I would slightly beg to differ here.
Sure.
And I agree with you. Putting on the HR hat, I think it's amazing. It's an amazing feat. Attrition is low, you have retention. I'm sure that the reason that's happening is because you have programs in place, because you have an environment that is so welcoming. Alternatively, I share an experience of myself. Prior to being with Fourth Partner, I was with consulting, like I mentioned. I did 6+ years. And quite frankly, and I have no shame in saying that, but I believe that there was a sense of complacency that came in.
Okay.
So, at least I'm a little biased in that way, where I would say staying long necessarily is not good productivity. It's important that you have churn. Whether that churn number is a certain percentage or a different percentage is something which we can debate, but I believe I wouldn't think or wouldn't get too happy about it. What would you say?
Both of them are now pointing the arrow at me, but that's okay.
No, that's a question because you have so many years of experience, and then we have been in this, but then we worked in the consulting in the small group where the churning will not be so much,
Yeah.
and so the percentages wouldn't match with the percentages.
Yeah, like I
which are
said,
carried.
when I see a number like this, I'm personally
Yeah.
very thrilled. But I agree with what both of you are saying. There has to be a certain amount of churn, not necessarily from people who've been here for the longest tenure. That's not necessarily what it should be. So I continue to be happy with this number. But I'll definitely put on the hat of the business folks and try and see it, especially with performance appraisals
Yes.
coming up in the
So
next couple of
one
months.
the result which comes also at the team or the talents who have gone for higher studies.
Yeah.
So that was more promoted because I have seen personally certain cases where we have been asked to take a sabbatical and go
Yes,
and then
yes.
come
Come back and
come
enjoy.
back.
Yes,
Yes. So
yes.
that percentage would be further more.
So both of you agree it's good, right? Finally.
I'll leave my reservation on that. But I would maybe pick a thread on that, Anjali, because the organizations that we've come from essentially have seen very high attrition.
Yes, that's true.
Especially for longer tenures, right? So what do you think maybe fourth partner is doing something differently? While I think Great Place to Work also had the validation on the trust and credibility, but if there's something that you feel
Yes.
is very unique or something that you all are doing, it will be a very good thing.
So there are two other factors which were highlighted by the GPW survey. One of them is that we're a socially responsible organization, and I think especially the younger generation now looks for such values or such business outcomes that the organizations are trying for. The second, which again was personally very important to me, was fourth partner ensures that we have a physically safe environment that we create for our employees. So I think these two factors again for me stood out when I saw the results. Again, what are your views on the same if we talk about these two?
I think socially responsible, yes, 100%. I
Yes.
agree. We have an ESG team, we have a CSR activity. There are a lot of community development programs, socially beneficial programs. I have personally been part of a couple of them where we go to a certain school, we are spending time with the kids. I think it's a fulfilling
Absolutely.
aspect, right, for us because apart from making money, apart from being intellectually stimulating, end of the day you need that comfort, that validation when you are doing something which is for the greater good.
Yes.
So I completely believe in that, and I think that also one of the reasons that helps me to be motivated at work.
So true. Yes.
Rahul, any
I
thoughts?
No, absolutely right. On the physical safety, I just want to add. So we also have our internal WhatsApp group. So we have female co-members in the office, and then there are season timings where they spend time in office with all of us. So we ensure we have WhatsApp group in place. They inform us. We have a escort who goes with them in the cab and then drop them off. We have late evening parties if we have it. So we follow this protocol and let's make them safe and comfortable. So these are certain policies I think which has to go on.
Yes, yes. And just given that what the mission of our organization is, so when I talk to candidates who want to come and join Fourth Partner, it's just that which gets them excited that I'm going to be contributing to climate change, hopefully, in my own small way. And I think the social responsibility of the organization and what we're tied into is comes out very clearly there as well.
I think what you said is amazing, right? Because you're having people now who are informed.
Yes.
They want to make an informed decision. It's no more a 9-to-5 job, getting a certain paycheck and living paycheck.
True.
It is about what more can I do, and like you said, climate change is one of the biggest problems that we are facing.
Yes.
And I think it's truly amazing that people are more informed.
Yes, they are. Also, it helps us, from an HR and a talent acquisition perspective when we talk about the fact that we are certified as a great place to work 2 years in a row, so that also makes a change. And I've been telling everybody who's on the hiring teams to tom about this as much as possible. I think
it's a feather in your cap.
Yes.
In all of our cap,
All
yeah.
of our caps.
And we get good talents.
Yes. So I think overall, we've managed to create a pretty amazing employee experience, because people are happy. We've scored well in the GPW survey. We've been certified second time in a row. So any closing thoughts that Akhil and Rahul you would want to share at this point in time?
No, it's all going great, and then that's what the culture, and we just want to go ahead with the way we are doing and grow ourselves financially as well in the system.
Lovely.
I wanted to share 2 experiences of mine personally which I resonate with, and I think I want to talk about it more. The flexibility at this place is amazing.
Yes.
I had a personal commitment that I had. I just messaged on our team group that I will not be available tomorrow post 3 p.m. and that's all.
Yeah.
I could go and do my personal work. It's encouraged.
Yes.
So there's this organization psychologist who I follow very closely, Adam. So he says you need to take a break when you want one, not when you need one or earn one, right? And I think that is the philosophy of Fourth Partner.
Most certainly.
I've had our founder come to me and tell me, please go and take a break and don't answer.
Yes.
So that is the level of openness. And see, only when you're giving more will you get more, right? It's a reciprocal relationship. The other very interesting anecdote I wanted to share is we had a colleague, and I think there was the release of Salar and Donkey movie, and extremely passionate about movies. So he comes to the office and he's like, tomorrow, first day, I am taking leave because I want to watch both the movies. And his manager in an instant, yes, please take leave. That's the level of transparency that we have in this organization.
No, I completely, I resonate with that so much. I've been here for almost 4 years now, and personal, professional commitments, etc. I think more than me honoring them, it's the organization and my leaders who tell me that no, you must go. Yeah, you must go and ensure that you meet your commitments. I also loved the fact that we had these annual days that are celebrated, and we have 500 plus people gathering under one roof. And I'm actually getting goosebumps as I'm saying this. But the amount of fun, noise, craziness that goes on over there, and that one photograph for which we all come together on the dot, on time, where we all sit.
Not quite on time. Organizers have a lot of work to do.
Yes, of course, I agree with that. But I think those are some aspects that make us so much more wedded to Fourth Partner, and remaining wedded as well. And hence I'm once again happy with the tenure of employees here. But on that note, I think we've covered what we wanted to hear, and I hope all of you have had a great time listening to us and all our experiences at Fourth Partner. Lots more to come for sure. In terms of initiatives, in terms of interesting policies that we will be also churning out at Fourth Partner Energy. Do keep watching us. Do keep an eye on us as we go along. We have a very interesting bunch of LinkedIn subscribers already who are tuning into the material that we share on an everyday basis. It will be great to hear your comments on what we just discussed, and any suggestions that you would have. More than happy to look at that and see how we can continue to be a great place to work. Thank you so much, Akhil. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Thank you, Anjali. Thanks, Rahul. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.